right?
Yeah.
Who I believe does get the form off the Void Grubs.
Yeah.
So, that, I think this game, Void Grubs are actually very, very important.
Okay. So I expect to see a bit of top pressure here. Of course, Husha picking up the Sejuani alongside Drivers Cassante. There is a little bit of synergy there. Although in general, it's just going to be tanks wailing on tanks. And Kasa, if he's able to execute well, is probably going to have a good time in the 2v2 up there.
Shun did go for the lethal tempo.
Okay, it is on hit. I think maybe seeing Sejuani Cassante,
Yeah.
you're almost forced into it. It does feel a little rough, because it feels like the lethal tempo, sort of the on-hit Varus, up against this, what I imagine is going to inevitably be sort of this mid-lane pressuring Lucian with the rapid fire cannon and all sorts of procs off your auto attack, means that it's going to be very hard to get pressure if you do fall at all behind in the bot lane. Of course, though, Zyra and Varus, a very, very strong lane, should actually have pressure for the most part early game.
They should, yeah. I think CFO's comp is a very big test of individual skill. I think this LeBlanc, Zyra, and the Belveth all kind of have to perform a bit above their counterparts in order to win this game, because I think, like you mentioned before, Beyond kind of feels like they came out with the stronger, team fight comp, which is very important, I think, in stage games, because a lot of the time, no matter how scrims go, it sometimes does just come down to a bunch of 5v5s around the Dragon when you get to the real matches.
Yep. And I guess importantly as well, just in case anyone has forgotten, it is a best of 3. So the results of this game isn't necessarily the end of the world. It can be a reverse sweep. Either BYG or CFO picking this one up. They have another game to try and get it back on track. So, not the end of the world if you do lose, but of course you're not wanting to. Picking up a 2-0 win for either of these team would be ideal. And you see Kasa getting his invade on. Belveth oftentimes is just going to staunch you out of your Raptors, and so giving them up and trying to take the opposite side of the map is Husha, but Kasa's going to come, meet him, should be able to pick up his Raptors as well. It should only be the red buff, maybe even the Krugs here getting picked up by Husha, but he does have to definitely be a little bit careful.
Yeah, Kasa's going to be pretty ahead after this, though. I think this is pretty good. You get a split map situation, so your bot lane, your Zyra, your Varus, they just get to push in that isolated 2v2 pretty much forever and rest. You're not too worried, I think, about dying in the top lane against these two tanks, so I think really, really good start for CFO.
For sure. Kasa showing a bit of his abilities here, of course, in the jungle. Is going to be ahead as that Belveth, and you kind of have to, right? Sejuani not going to be sort of too upset with getting a little bit behind, but Belveth really does need to sort of start snowballing, start getting ahead to be as functional as a champ. Of course, you get to a point where if Sejuani runs into a lane, throws ult, hits the right person, can just mean the end of a team fight, and Shun doesn't have cleanse, so it's even more important that Shun staying well away from any form of glacial prison.
Now, Belveth is in that bot river. Maybe looking at mid. Have to be careful here, does Azir. LeBlanc Belveth ganks it up.
Yeah.
Could be enough.
Oh, Gory cancelling the chain.
Yeah.
Would have been able to hit it, but I guess it would have cost him even more health. And 116 with Husha right behind him did feel pretty healthy. And now the Fleet Footwork is there. Take me through it. Do you think it's good?
Honestly, not really. I think the Fleet Footwork is here. It is really good up against some of those skill shot champions. So stuff like Syndra, having the extra movement speed is nice. I think for the sustain, it's pretty mediocre. I think the main argument for it is, though, that AD LeBlanc is so strong in lane that you really just need all the sustain you can get. So I believe that's why he's gone for it. We'll have to see whether or not it pays off. As Kasa, he's getting so aggressive in Husha's jungle here, and without the mid-pro, really just isn't much he can do.
Husha was able to pick up the camp, though, so really didn't lose anything for it. It was just a bit of pressure, and Husha will be able to back out and go now all the way through his jungle to get to his Krugs. I think he believes there's a Kasa still lurking about, but there's not, so he'll be able to pick that one up. And now, obviously, you're not a support player, but what do you think we're going to have here as our 2 support item upgrades? I'm thinking Zax's here for the Zyra on Sword Art, and Dreammaker would be my assumption for Stay True here.
Yeah, I think those are definitely both right. I think the Realm Spike pretty much guaranteed for the Zyra. And I think on Milio, Dreammaker makes the most sense. Maybe in a different game, you go Celestial if you're worried about dying. But here, it shouldn't be the case as CFO's bot
getting
lane.
very, very low. He's going to have to pop that flash, pop that heal. And now Sword Art is in absolutely no man's land. Husha comes over. Is he going to be able to land that stun? He will. It's going to be first blood of 2024 over to the Sejuani. On the other side, though, it is the Void Grubs getting picked up here from Kasa. And so kind of what you talked about. It's what your bot lane can lose while you take those Void Grubs, and it's first blood here, as well as a lot of sums going over to the side of BYG.
Yeah, I think you're pretty happy there with BYG. Giving up these 3 grubs in order to shut down the enemy bot lane feels pretty good. And I wonder, CFO, how much of that was the map difference? Obviously, they didn't get ganked through that new bush there, but you see with that 1 ward in the river, it's very hard to control every path, right? They don't feel comfortable warding the tribe because they have to control the rest. And unfortunately, the bot lane just too far up when Belveth is on the top side. You'd have to feel that's pretty greedy from the side of CFO's bot lane. Probably needed to back off. I wonder if Husha could have just given the kill here. I don't think he needed to take it. That was a no flash on the Zyra, so probably could have given it over to Feng. But ultimately, a first blood is a first blood.
Yeah, and maybe just wanting to get a sort of the kill as soon as possible so you can try and push out your lane a little bit and get a more optimal back timing. That could have been the thought.
Top lane sure is looking exciting.
Yep. Absolute excitement here in the top lane. What do you reckon the first item here for Driver? New one, the Recurn?
Ooh.
It's got the...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it goes for Radiance for the wave clear, or maybe... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it might be the Radiance. Isn't all that much magic damage at the moment that he has to face. Of course, Udyr does do a bit. And I guess going on through the game, really everyone except for this Belveth will be outputting a reasonable amount of magic resist, so... Driver has a pretty easy job of sort of build pathing this game. He can probably just get himself a Jack Show eventually and leave it there for any form of armor.
A Jack Show does feel like one of the very best items on the patch as well, especially picked up later in the build. Makes you a mega tank. Now, that is the first dragon picked up for CFO, so they managed to get all the neutral objectives so far, and even have managed to even up the gold and have a slight CS lead there in the bot side.
I think that's somewhat to be expected. I think as you sort of get to the mid-game, there's Lucian using the first strike to Chade as Driver looking for a kill here. Is he going to be able to land that 3rd Q? But nothing more will come from it. It looks like a reset likely to come through here for Driver as we're back to the bot side. Going to actually land that kick here from the Melio. Stay True, though, isn't going to be able to get any more follow-up here for Husha as Kasa on the way down, coming through that river.
Yeah, they might opt into a 3v3 here. Oh, Kasa,
he's sitting outside the bush. Yeah.
It's going to be spotted out. And maybe Kasa's just going to hover in order to fix the lane state here. Still kind of down to look for a 3v3.
Yeah, there is no roams coming through from either of these mid lanes. I think BYG are happy to just get this wave in. They're actually going to look. Swordart gets hit there by the Glacial Prison, and Fang will pick himself up a kill. Cully comes through. Shun, no summoners, and Hoosh is able to find himself a second. 3-0. BYG truly on the board.
Absolute disaster in the bot lane there for CFO. Swordart, he did not flash the Sejuani, and then Shun, he didn't have the flash. So punishment from before was taken out, and you wonder, what was CFO trying to accomplish there? There's no chance really of ever crashing the wave, and is crashing the wave even something you need to do? I'm not too sure. It feels like Kasa was wasting a lot of time around there. And, from bad to worse, really, as both their bot laners do go down. And this is a bot lane, I think, that needed to be ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sort of onto Kasa there during that entire sort of play. He was never in a position that ever felt threatening towards Feng or Stager as we go mid lane, and Glory gets very aggressive here under 116's tower. There's no teleport for the Azir, so a lot more CS will be lost. LeBlanc feeling pretty good about herself, but of course, going to have a pretty strong Lucian and Sejuani now to deal with.
We will, and we'll see this again. So Kasa, he was spotted out nice and early, and I think at this point just wanted to make sure his bot lane didn't get dived, but I kind of feel that this 3v3, I'm not sure they can even kill Husha here. I think he is just too tanky, and Swordart, you had to flash the Sedge ult if you're going to commit to this fight ever. He just gets bursted down way too fast, and Shun, caught without that flash, really just has nowhere to go.
How did Husha get that kill? Was it the activation of the stun?
Yeah, must have been.
Driver? Landing everything. This is feeling pretty good here. I think as more and more magic resist comes through, this Cassandra is going to be impossible to deal with. And now back to what you said pre-game. Void Grubs are up. Hoosh is taking them. And BYG's bot lane is looking to get dove here. Chain of Corruption available. Stranglethorn's available. Everything's hitting. But the Breath of Life will come through. Feng's feeling very good. He's feeling full of health. And now there's no more ultimates left for the CFO bot lane.
Yeah, BYG's bot lane do very, very well here. They're pretty much undivable, I believe, with all their sums. They are going to try and force
looking
this,
for the dive. Nice kick. Swordart getting low. Feng looking for the kill. Won't find it. Flash out does come through. Barrier also popped. Kasa going to take an extra tower shot for his trouble. As Shun dawdling through the tower is also going to lose his flash. Everyone so low. Husha on the way down. 4 members strong here trying to protect this bot lane of CFO. as this two-man unit of Stay True and Feng are just unkillable.
That was incredibly well played by them, managing to survive there on the weak side. You know, you're kind of expecting to have to walk away from your tower while your jungler's on the Rift Herald, but they have their cake, they eat it too. As they did have to burn a lot of sums, but they managed to survive and actually force some sums out of Shun as well. So a very big win for BYG. And they're pulling further and further ahead, now up almost 1k gold. And you have to feel like pretty much every lane is in a good spot. Even the Azir, you know, the Cassante, they're scaling up nicely. And the lanes that needed to get ahead for CFO are kind of falling behind.
Yep, absolutely. Things feeling very, very good. And again, as we sort of said before, it's going to be very difficult for anyone in CFO if they get behind to deal with this Cassante. Because again, just stacking on MR, maybe one armor item, and you're pretty golden. You see Driver's just, you know, not as exciting as we're used to from the Driver, but very solid. Has gone down 5 CS, but honestly, farming up against the Udyr, not the easiest job in the world.
It is that static shift now completed for LeBlanc. So it's up to Gory to start putting this game in a good position because, at least for now, isn't looking too hot. And he should be able to have that full control over the mid lane. And maybe he can come down and punish some of these bot lane sums. A second dragon is spawning in just 10 more seconds. And it is Gory already looking aggressively in this bot side.
There is quite a sizable seedling advantage for Kasa here as well, as Dragon will be spawning. Kasa seems to be pathing towards it. Husha on the same side of the map, and you have to say BYG's bot lane looking a lot stronger at the current time of the game. Going to have vision control as well as the force out the recall here from the CFO bot lane. Now Shun doesn't have sums for this, neither does Feng, but Feng obviously being on that Lucian feels a lot safer. Does have access to the Relentless Pursuit to be able to find some form of gap close or escape. Kasa starting up this red buff though. Husha none the wiser. Looks like Kasa might get the greatest heist of his life here.
It does manage to get it away. Husha though, he's going to find Shun.
Yeah, Glacial Prison comes out, finds him, Sword Art. Getting very, very low. Chain of Corruption will land. Breath of Light comes out. And there's a very low bot lane here for CFO. They're not really looking like they're going to be able to contest this Baron as Kasa's in the pit. Feng looking to get aggressive. Will find a couple of auto attacks here, as well as that piercing light, but Kasa will limp that way. Low health. It really is just the domination coming through here, honestly by Husha, but alongside the BYG bot lane that is just allowing for so much on this map.
Yep, and I think with that current mid and bot prior, they should look to start up this first dragon. They do have spikes on pretty much every member here, so gonna feel pretty confident to pick this up, and I don't see CFO looking to contest this. At the same time, giving up dragons when you've got the Varus and the counterpick Zyra feels pretty bad. You definitely know something's gone wrong.
For sure. I wonder if Husha's realized his red's gone yet. I think he's about to.
Yeah, he pinged on his way to it on the map. And he's not there. He missing pings it as well. Happens to the best.
I love Driver's player cam. He's just always smiling. He's really leaned in, tuned in, and just got a smile on his face.
We love to see it. Is he rushing out the Leandri up there?
Ooh.
Could be a Rift Maker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. It should be a Rift Maker, right?
Yeah, makes more sense.
I think, yeah. You do generally, I think it was seen internationally, a lot of the LCK as Rift Maker coming through into full tank. It just gives you a whole lot of damage, some Omni Vamp as well. Kind of feels like a bit of a broken item if you're playing a champ that is able to purchase it.
And there it is, up against the Hollow Radiance as well on the top side. And this is the Herald. Herald has been changed as well. You can now pilot it. You can steer it.
And would you believe it? We got the support items right.
Oh, we did.
What do you think of the new Moonstone, by the way?
I think it's strong.
Yeah, I think it's completely broken. It feels so, so good. I've played it a couple times myself in my solo queue games, and I'm playing champs like Lulu, for example. When you just put a shield on one person and another person gets it, it's like, wow, why would you ever not build this item anymore?
Yeah, it is pretty strong. So that Herald does go the way of BYG. We'll see what they get done with it. I think breaking the mid tower and opening up the map is normally the place to go. Maybe getting some gold onto your Azir could be more valuable, just to make sure he can keep up in that side lane against LeBlanc, because LeBlanc, especially with this AD build, is one of those champs that really runs away with the game if she does manage to get ahead. So kind of stopping that, or slowing it down at least, I think does go a long way. Driver, though, I mean, he's going to be able to just clear these waves, and it's going to take Gory a long time to knock down this tower, but he will knock it down eventually.
Yeah, Husha, very, very far behind on his seedling, as I said before. Still has 6 stacks remaining where his casters is complete. And if you look at the jungler scoreline, this seems to me like a classic solo queue game where one jungler's just power farming and angry at his team for dying to obvious ganks. Not that they were so obvious, but
well, he was there for the obvious ganks.
Yeah, one of them was Husha just throwing out an ult.
Yeah, we'll see. So now, heading into that mid-game, Husha, he is hovering around mid, probably wants to bring some more members around this mid lane before he commits the Herald. Actually, may look top, though. Now, Gory is not the easiest champ to pick. Are they going to try? That's one dash gone already. Husha is around. Slater on the Milio moving up as well, but doesn't offer much to a gank. Sword Art will be spotted out on this pink ward as he tries to regain some of that precious topside control. They want Gory to be able to play for the split push, but without having control of that mid wave and having a losing bot lane, it makes their life a lot more difficult.
Yeah, just poking and prodding around here. Really is no objective on the map. It's just pressuring. They are ahead, so they have the ability to pressure in this jungle, get some vision down. I think there's treachery afoot, by the way, in Husha's itemization.
Treachery?
Yeah, I'm not sure that plated steel caps makes a whole lot of sense this game.
Yeah.
I guess Belveth and Varus are the only two ever killing you, but it also feels like there is a lot of CC.
Yeah, I mean, it could be good against the LeBlanc, maybe. He might also just have a lot of tenacity in his runes. I didn't see what he took, but
yeah.
If you have unflinching and tenacity, I could kind of see it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And is going to get that very cheap Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart, another absolutely busted item on the patch. So
yeah.
Really making use of that OP itemization. There's a lot of OP items at the moment, to be fair.
Yeah, at the point where there's a lot of OP items, is anything truly OP?
Just the ones everyone's building.
I think Storm Surge seems to be the biggest outlier for me. As well as the new Hydra. The new Hydra feels bonkers on AD Assassins as well.
Oh, Profane? Yeah,
Profane Hydra.
Okay, Driver has to be a little bit careful. Should be strong enough to get out of this, but they are going to have a look at him.
Does have Ghost, does have movement, gets himself out. Gory, though, as we said before, having a pretty good time for himself up in this side lane. I guess one benefit of having the Azir into this AD LeBlanc is later on when there are some towers down and she's pressuring a side lane, you are able to construct the sandcastle, and which will delay about one more wave from this LeBlanc, which can buy enough time for an objective on the opposite side of a map or a play.
Dragon is spawning in 20 more seconds, and that Herald is still in Husha's inventory, so they might just drop it mid in order to secure that second Herald, something that we've seen many times before. Actually, CFO's bot lane have recalled. If BYG checked that, they could maybe break this tower on this wave.
Does anyone drive it into a wall?
I did my very first time.
I did as well. But do you think any of these players will?
No, they've been scrimming all week, surely.
We'll see.
Okay, Husha, let's see. He's got his driver's license.
Yeah, he's drifting.
Look at him go.
Yeah, this guy's crazy.
That's a man who's dropped several Rift Heralds in his time.
There we go. This will be the Rift Herald going down.
This will be the Dragon traded away, but maybe they can go for 2 top. That's also the first tower of the game.
Ooh, yeah. Nah, Husha's driving.
Yeah, gets another head off, and I believe they can take this. They've got a lot of these little void things here. What do you call them?
Are they just void grubs? Void mites, I think, actually.
Void mites, yeah.
I think
that's
they're void mites.
Okay.
Sandcastle goes up. They should be safe.
Yeah, a little bit of damage traded on to BYG there, but I think for the amount of gold they picked up, sacrificing a second dragon is completely worth it, especially because you'd have to feel like they're the team that should be happy with the game going longer. I think the longer the game goes, the more CFO's win con becomes just, can Gory split push this game into a victory? Because I think teamfight is just going to get more and more difficult, and you can see there in the player gold, those carries for BYG are pretty ahead.
Yeah, and Feng has gone the Navori Quick Blades here second, which isn't exactly what I sort of had guessed would happen, but it does mean that he'll have a little bit more damage when it comes to dealing with the likes of the Udyr. Even the Belveth in many ways. A little less burst when it comes to that sort of mid-wave, but got his own itemization.
I kind of like what BYG is doing here of matching the Cassante into the LeBlanc, because I think it takes just so long for LeBlanc to make any headway here.
Oh, that culling.
Yeah, a little bit of damage traded over, but not a whole lot. As CFO, they have moved from the bot side, so they could look for a play around mid. But BYG, their bot lane's been respecting all game long, so respect this window too. And in the meantime, 116 continues to gather more and more gold in the bot lane. He's going to Nash's Leandry build, very based, big fan. and he's going to grab another tower. And I think this is very important because that tower gold that CFO picked up, it was spread on the Belveth and the Udyr. Two champs that, you know, Belveth with gold, I think it's fine. At this point in the game, feels less and less relevant. I think the Udyr pretty much already, you'd rather have that gold on pretty much anyone else. Meanwhile, though, BYG, all the tower gold has gone to Azir.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very ahead. Might even be picking up his second item after a couple more waves on the bot side here. And if he gets that Liandry's before another key fight, this Azir is going to be outputting some pretty crazy DPS. Gory, though, he is level 14, currently ahead of pretty much anyone else in the game. Rest is the only one matching him. And 116 now takes over to 14. That's very, very important. Another one of AD LeBlanc's strengths is just being ahead in levels compared to everyone else and really utilizing those base stats to continue that 1v1 pressure. That Liandry's was just picked up now for 1116. I believe alongside the Frozen Heart there on Husha, so some very big second item spikes coming in right now. And BYG, I think, you know, grouping up around mid would feel very comfortable forcing a fight at this point in the game.
Yeah, through goes Husha. I mean, Husha is just unkillable at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. And I think importantly, you know, Kasa is engaged on, takes a little bit of damage. Rest as well.
Now, 116 is going to be able to do damage to this Udyr now. Does have that Liandry's, as you said, as well as Nash's. Husha's going to be able to cut him off. Rest can go CC immune. Will not. Get stunned up here. And Feng, with the culling, will be able to secure himself a kill there. Now, attention going towards this Baron. It does feel a little bit hard to secure still, as Driver looking to 1v4, defend off this tower. And honestly, might just be able to do so.
Yeah,
Going to be going back. Feng now is here, as well as the rest of the boys. Does manage to fend off any attacks here on the mid wave.
Or maybe looking forward. It's a bit hard though. I mean, Sorta, he was someone who needed to be a big part of this team getting that Liandry's early, but still does not have it at 22 minutes in. And Zyra without that, not really a champion. I think this mid tower will eventually fall, which you have to feel like might be a bit of a mistake from BYG. I think mismanaged the priority around mid. And it does honestly cost them in a pretty big way now the mid lane opened. It means the CFO have some more windows into this wave. 116, he catches out Rest on the side. Now, there was a lot committed in order to secure this kill, but I feel also like the punishment from CFO wasn't the best. I think right now, CFO, you see them on the map trying to move to this play, whereas probably should just be bulldozing it down mid and perhaps could have got the tower a little bit faster. Ultimately, did end up getting it, so can't complain too much. But now Dragon admitted away. CFO, they are down gold, but they have a pretty decent position with that mid lane opened up, and there are important spikes coming through. The Rage Blade on Shun. Still no Liandry's on Sword Art, which is really hampering his damage.
For sure. It's also the 2 items. Storm Razor now completed for Gory. So definitely going to be strong, especially if he's able to get some of that pressure in the side lane. But as we saw before, it seems like BYG are just happy putting Driver in that lane and kind of neutralizing that LeBlanc as much as possible. Now, I think next fight, of course, should happen around this Dragon. You really don't want to give it over if you're BYG. You're ahead as things stand and shouldn't be giving over third Dragon. Definitely do not want to be on Soul Point.
No. I think for either team here, there is enough to... there's a look for the engage.
Does get the blue buff. And of course, nowadays in Season 14, blue buff and red buff are mini objectives, if not just full-on objectives, being that after the 20-minute mark, securing either of them does give your entire team the buff. Meaning, as you see on your screen here, BYG both all rocking double buffs.
Ooh, a CFO deciding to trade it. They don't go for the Baron, but are going to try trade away this top tower. So not bad. I mean, a trade is the best you can get here. I think opting into the team fight would be a losing scenario, but can they get enough for it to be worth it? Because I think TP used by LeBlanc here means eventually there is going to be a lull and split push pressure, and the mid tower is traded away too, so it wasn't like they got this for free. BYG, I think, feeling better and better about their position. They definitely have enough DPS as well as the tanks to start up a Baron if CFO ever make a mistake and overextend.
For sure. Recalls coming through. Be important to see if this rapid fire cannon can be completed by Feng on the Lucian, and it will be, so huge spike there. Not so much an upfront damage, but certainly when you're around these mid-waves. Slaytrue, though, being looked at. Chains will land. Slaytrue getting very low. Breath of the Light comes through as well. As that's Jangle Fawns. And now Gory getting very, very low in his own right, but will be able to get on out of there with that Distortion and Mimic. But a lot of low health bars. It is going to cost a flash there from Slaytrue. Holds the heal, which Nerves of steel, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it might have still been down. I'm not sure. I think it just came up. But if he did, very brave to hold that heal for so long. Gory did lose his flash as well, so it ends up just being a flash trade. I think Shun also healed him on the way out. To some's advantage, slightly to the side of BYG. Ultimately, though, not too much happens as a result. Leandri's finally completed for Sword Art, is going to be able to start dealing some damage, but you wonder if it's too little too late. Zyra champ that, again, very oppressive from ahead, but oftentimes can feel pretty lackluster. Honestly, just like a 300 gold pinata when she falls behind.
Definitely behind she is at the moment. Kills still stand at 4-0 in favor of BYG. Gold at 3k ahead. Dragon's even. Really the next big objective, and I think obviously there could be the dragon fight over Soul Point, but Baron needs to start being looked at, I think, from BYG. You're ahead and have to start pressuring somehow. If you just keep letting this LeBlanc sit in the side lane, eventually she's going to get to the point where she's even able to do some damage to the Cassante.
A driver is being brought up from that bot side, so maybe BYG want to try and make a real effort to secure this top side control and force a Baron. I think starting up a Baron up against Zyra LeBlanc can be kind of risky, but they do have a lot of damage, so it can be done quickly as they pressure it slightly.
Husha getting very, very low here. Gory jumps in the pit, takes a little bit of damage from that Baron.
Husha being brought so low, I think, means that nothing should come of this, and I wonder if we're just going to play towards a 4th dragon win condition. You feel like BYG should be able to be more aggressive with their lead. Oh, engage onto
Sword Art found again. Another Glacial Prism will find him. Dragon Forms comes out, but the culling is able to secure that kill. Finn gets in, gets out, and now Rest is looking for anything. The heal coming through here from Stay True as Gory coming from the north. Will have to go back to the Distortion, comes back in with that Mimic, and back again. Driver, though, pops a ghost. He's now made it onto Shun. This Varus is not long for the world as 116 will pick that up. It's 2-0 here in favor of BYG. Their attention, though, still not towards this Baron.
I'm very surprised that they didn't start out the Baron here. I guess just felt like the health bars were too low and LeBlanc has too much poke, but I think with the tanks and with the DPS available, they could have done it. Maybe just feel like if the game continues to play out slowly, that there is no risk of them losing this game. So ultimately, I'm just playing it as safe as possible, which, you know, perhaps for the very first game of the season, could be the way to go. It is that Leandri is now being built from the Azir. We'll take a look at this. So Sword Art, it is difficult. He's the one that kind of has to clear this vision, but he walks too far up, and a squishy Zyra is not long for this word. I believe the culling was actually down, but Feng, just with the rapid fire auto, did just take him out immediately. Managed to kite it out, at least for now. And there was a bit of damage traded back here. Nice flank from Driver with the TP. Comes in, it manages to find Shun. You do worry a little bit because I think CFO's bot lane definitely meant to be one of their big strengths as a team, and so far in the first game have not really found their place.
Zyra, though, managing to do the most damage for the team in a team fight. That's a classic Zyra moment.
It really is. Useless all game. Dies first in the team fight. Still top damages.
Hits you with the check damage at the end. Milio, on the other hand, actually doing a lot in the team fight, but only 100 damage.
Damage is the only stat that matters. Okay, 35 seconds away from what is going to be the 3rd drag for either one of these teams. CFO, they've yet to pick up a kill, and they are down a little bit of gold. Spikes as well feel like they're definitely in BYG's favor. That 3rd item, you know, on both the carries, while Voltaic Cyclo Sword has been picked up here by the LeBlanc, but Wit's End still missing from Shun. And it is BYG who maintain the control here. Have really their choice.
Culling comes out.
It's just blocked up.
Yeah, Turtle Stance will block out a lot of it. Of course, though, it still feels good. You do have that first strike, and it's giving you constant gold, which means you're going to get towards these item spikes quicker. But again, not a whole lot of progress being made. Dragon does spawn now, and it looks like this is BYG's for free. It's going to be their 3rd. That means they're on Soul Point. CFO now, certainly on the clock. There's about 5 minutes left for them to really have to contest. Should be enough time, though, for this Varus to pick himself up his 3rd item, as well as the Udyr up in the top side. Casa, though, not likely to get any further than 2nd. Just some components.
Yeah. So now BYG, the majority of them off the map. Feng actually has to be careful. He's the only one on the map right now, so does need to respect. Is going to back off. And I wonder, will we just see BYG now really committing towards that 4th dragon? It feels like it is the safest play, but honestly feels like you could get a lot more done than they have so far. Will they spot out this recall? They do not. I'm probably going to feel uncomfortable pulling the trigger on anything without knowing that. Oh, Gory walks up, takes a little bit of damage for his trouble.
Yeah, Fing not afraid to go forward. I think one thing that's kind of concerning to me is that LeBlanc was ahead in CS all game, but now after just random mid lane fights and whatnot, it is actually 116 who's regained control of the CS lead. It does feel like in the Azir versus LeBlanc matchup, that should never really happen at any stage of the game.
I think a lot of it is just BYG's bot lane has so much control over the mid wave that it really is difficult for Gory to hard commit to split pushing. Oftentimes, doesn't feel safe pushing past that river, and so just has to back off. And that really means that he can't get the damage on the tier 2 towers that he needs, as well as take the jungle camps. Husha, he's brawling Caster. Culling does come out. Sorta. He's taken low. Might be forced into a reset here. We'll see. I think he wants to try stay on the map. They don't want to give up this vision if they don't have to. But a reset will need to come through eventually. Is he going to use the Zyra plants? Oh, the flash ult.
Yeah, flash ult is going to be Breath of Light, though. Gory now being chunked out by this Lucian. Feng doing so much damage, and it's Husha in the middle. But here comes Driver. He's on the Cassante. Sorta will be able to flash away, but Shun is going to die for his troubles. And the all-out comes through. Rest is going so low. No problem there for 116 as he picks himself up at double, and attention goes towards the Baron.
That should just be the Baron going over to BYG. Another really nice pick found there.
Oh, Driver's not done though. Casa.
Can he get one more?
It looks like he might be able to. All out is going to be ending though. A lot of damage lost at that stage. It is going to be the Baron, however, picked up, and huge lead now for BYG.
Yeah, they should be able to bring this one to a win, and that was a play that started off with Shun trying to make a hero play, went for the flash ult onto Feng, but Slay True, he managed to turn that around with that quick breath of light. So really, just disastrous game. And how bad would it be for CFO if you come in as one of the strongest teams in the league and you get 0 kills in your first game?
Yeah, not the greatest look. Really good reaction from Husha too there, managing to land that the glacial prison, sorry.
I think once that initial engage fails as well, you really see the CFO comp sort of run out of steam. I mean, this was a comp that needed to be ahead, and if they fought even from an even position, the culling takes out Shun.
Has absolutely culled that Varus.
Yep.
And now it's a 4v5 with BYG having Baron.
How much can they get with this?
Ooh, it looks like with Driver here, it feels like you've got such a front line that you would be able to just push down. Also, not a whole lot of ranged wave clear. Glacial Prison does come out. It's going to land onto Rest. He's getting chucked out quite low. One auto attack taking out a third there of Caster's health. Now, Feng doesn't have a lifesteal, is fairly low, but 116 down on the bottom side, able to pick himself up in a tower, and now attention towards this inhib tower is going to lead that to going down. Pressure coming from 2 lanes. Inhib number 1 will be going down here in the mid lane as Gory gets chunked out. Quite a lot there by Azir and his Sand Soldiers.
It looks like it will be a double inhib at the minimum. I think pushing for more might be too much as BYG, they're going to try just disengage from this. They know they have that 4th drag win condition and only 1 more minute and a substantial goal lead to go along with it. You feel like there's pretty much no way to lose this game.
Oh,
Driver, he might be sacrificed here, although he is Cassante, let's not forget.
He might.
Could he take rest through the wall?
Yeah, if he can get rest through the wall, maybe he can get out, but it does look like he's just going to be going down.
He's a tanky boy.
Yeah, this guy's just not dying.
That's worrying signs, honestly. This is you finding the Cassandra in the side lane with your entire team, and it still takes
5v1.
a solid 10 seconds to take him out.
And in the meantime, now you're going to be losing your 3rd inhib.
Yeah. Are they going to be able to reset in time? It is a death cap on this Azir, so it has so much AP, just absolutely murders the tower. It goes down already, and I believe that is the 3rd inhib now gone. So Driver's misplay, the overstay, actually ends up rewarding them.
Yeah, now importantly, he will be dead for the spawn of this dragon, but depending on the pressure that BYG are able to exert using these minion waves, there might be the opportunity where CFO can look for this fight. Although Feng going forward will land the culling, a lot of damage onto Shun. Caster does a lot of blocking there, but Rest now going to pay his crimes, getting so low. 116 trying to slide in, will not be able to find the angle. And everyone just getting rallied back into their base. It's 4v5. Driver does not have teleport, but Hexgate's coming through. It's going to be that Hex Tech Dragon and Soul picked up now for BYG.
Yeah, BYG really just playing it as safe as possible. Now going to look towards this dragon. It should pick it up, and I think after this, can probably just walk in with all those Baron or with all the super waves and probably just end it. Looks like they will go for 1 more set of recalls, spend as much gold as you can. And I think they'll probably look to push it down. If they want to play it super safe, they can wait for the Baron to spawn, but I feel like it's pretty unnecessary. At this point, you're so far ahead. You have so many spikes in your carries and an absolutely unkillable front line. I really don't see a way into this game for CFO. Now, something real interesting. I think Gory is actually going for a Bork.
Okay.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, well, could it be the Terminus?
It could be.
Because you're getting a lot of auto attacks off. There's no two ways about that. Armor Pen and Magic Pen, both good stats on this build of LeBlanc.
It's a shame. We probably won't get to see what it ends up being built into, as now BYG, they want to put the last touches on this game.
Yeah, Husha being an absolute unkillable tank here. Glacial Prison will land. Shun gonna have to flash away. Also has to use that heal. And Driver, he's in there. He's all out. Shun is locked up. You see so much going on. But all that's going to really happen is BYG picking up the first game here of the 2024 split. They're 1-0 up in the series as long as they're able to put the final touches. Feng, he wants to pad the damage, dodging out of everything, continuing to lay waste here in the fountain. In comes the Shurima shuffle. It's massive. It's unnecessary, but it's going to secure themselves 2 more, maybe 3 more kills. Not quite, but first win of 2024 to Beyond.
Beyond, they really came out